I'm something of a bing-bong wahoo enjoyer, a player of the video juegos, but within the annals of gaming history, some franchises really grabbed me more than others.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry has always had a very special place in my heart. I've had the pleasure of growing up alongside the series, and with the release of the new Netflix adaptation, interest in the Devil May Cry series has exploded once again, as it rightly deserves. Come with me on a journey through Devil May Cry where I'll be touching on the history, the characters, and why you should play it, and so much more. I've also made a separate video with my own ideas for the plot of a hypothetical DMC6. First of all though, a personal anecdote, the spark that started it all. I still vividly remember my first exposure to the Devil May Cry series. I was a youngster visiting family abroad at the height of European summer, its sweltering and oppressive heat driving me indoors. My old PlayStation 2 had served me well, but with no desire to leave the shelter of my cool, dark room, I had soon played what few games I had to death. As my birthday had just passed that month and I had been whining about boredom, my beloved auntie offered to buy me a game to shut me up. I excitedly skipped my way to the nearby mall, and there, in the game store, I saw it. Devil May Cry 3. I gazed up in awe towards Dante, who peered down his nose at me, his grin as knowing as it was cocky. My silly 13-year-old brain had never seen such a cool character before. Something clicked in me that day and I had to have it. Despite being a full 3 years too young for its age rating, the bored cashier simply sold it to me with neither hesitation nor question. Thanks, Hobie. Unfortunately for me, having played the first few missions, I had come to an unfortunate realization. The game was really scary for me, and I didn't quite have the nerve to play it. I literally wussed out. How embarrassing. Although there was something formative to my tastes in that experience, it was not the beginning of my journey proper. A few years later, my first girlfriend introduced me to the original Devil May Cry 1. I recalled my previous experience, and with recently acquired teenage guts, I finally had the courage to play the series for real, and how blessed I was by it. I bloody loved Devil May Cry. 5 years before my first entanglement, in 2001, Devil May Cry was published by Capcom onto the PlayStation 2. Conceived by Hideki Kamiya as Resident Evil 4, it initially shared that series' DNA, fixed camera angles, puzzles, and a dark, moody atmosphere. But it evolved into something new, an action-packed masterpiece with stylish character combat rated on how effectively and flairfully you slayed demons. It marked our fated first meeting with Dante, Devil Hunter extraordinaire, and introduced other key characters, mysteries, and a notorious game difficulty. Devil May Cry sold admirably and went on to be considered one of the greatest games of all time. What a shame, then, that Devil May Cry 2 was such a terrible departure from almost everything that had made the original so great. To this day, there are a great many people who just don't want to acknowledge that this game exists. It still had a beautiful aesthetic and atmosphere, but was otherwise unrecognisable, as a result of a great many production difficulties and having been made by an entirely new development team. I myself have tried to play the game a couple of times, but just lose interest every time. Still canon though. And it did have some of the best character and environment designs for some people. Then enter the big dog, Devil May Cry 3. Set in a dark, moody and ominous art style and locations, 3 is a prequel exploring Dante's early days as a devil hunter and his epic rivalry with his brother Vergil, delivering some of gaming's greatest rival boss battles. It was an instant classic, loved by all, and is arguably the best game in the franchise, if not the entire character action genre. The director, Hideaki Itsuno, came to be a hero of the people with this one and perfected the stylish character action we have all come to know and love. It's worth mentioning that the original releases of Devil May Cry 3 in Japan and Europe were infamous for their difficulty. Later releases and American ones had the difficulty adjusted to make it more digestible. The game cemented Dante's character once and for all, and he became something of a gaming pop culture icon. The confident, overpowered, cocky and lovable Wacky Wahoo Pizza Man was born and buried himself deep into our hearts. Devil May Cry 3 is the point at which many fans truly fell in love with the series, myself included. Devil May Cry 4 hit the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, introducing Nero, a passionate young man with a devil arm and a revving sword. A new hero for a new age of gaming. Fans initially grumbled about Dante being sidelined, but despite development and budget cuts, Itsuno delivered another shimmering gem. The combat was tighter than ever and Nero eventually won the fans over. Devil May Cry 4 ended with some plot points being left to dangle in our imaginations as Dante bid farewell, seemingly for the last time. It honestly felt like our last goodbye to the series, and it turned out to feel that way for good reason. Capcom would then go on to try and reboot the series with DMC Devil May Cry. A long silence followed. For over a decade, DMC seemed dead. Then, in a glorious return, Itsuno and Capcom dropped Devil May Cry 5. With a new engine, photorealistic visuals and all our beloved characters, it redefined the genre. The reveal had fans buzzing. The online community for Devil May Cry had never been so alive and so creative as after the reveal of DMC 5. The memes were a blast, and it felt like a really special part of Devil May Cry history to have been a part of. More importantly, the game delivered. The gameplay was unmatched, the cutscenes and writing impeccable. Major plot points were resolved and everyone we loved was there. All our favourite characters were back. It had a new lease on life, and with a swing of Dante's sword, he had cut away every agonizing moment we had spent waiting for peak to return to video gaming. Years of storytelling culminated in one explosive game that left us both satisfied and desperately craving more. I won't say too much more about it though, because you really should play it for yourself. 11 out of 10. It's worth mentioning that Dante and Vergil have appeared in a great many other games as guest characters, and there have now been 2 different Devil May Cry animations to enjoy also. I personally prefer the older one from 2007, but the new Netflix special does have some charms despite being deeply flawed. I won't go into them now, but thanks to this new show, interest in DMC has surged again, and we eagerly await Devil May Cry 6 with bated breath. So, what makes Devil May Cry so special? Firstly and foremostly, the characters. They are nothing short of iconic. Dante is the world's favourite demon-slaying, pizza-munching, one-liner delivering heartthrob. His iconic white hair and red coat are striking to all and recognisable even to people who haven't played the games, and along with his famous guns and devil sword, Ebony, Ivory and Rebellion respectively, he has appeared in multiple mediums and forms across video gaming and pop culture in general. He's the star of some of gaming's best choreographed cutscenes, decimating demons with effortless style and charisma. Despite his established traits, he has grown and matured over the series, and yes, he's incredibly handsome. Other characters like Lady and Nero have also weaseled their way into our hearts, each adding unique dynamics to the story, but no other can match Dante himself except, appropriately, for his one true rival and challenger, his own brother, Vergil. Now, I love Dante to absolute bits, but At the bottom of my heart is a plastic throne upon which Vergil sits, the original dimension-slashing, judgment-cutting, unzips katana EI mastering too fast 5U character. Vergil is the coolest, coldest lover of mothers in video gaming, and he has been copied and ripped off about 10 million times since DMC3, especially in gacha games. You want to know why Vergil won't ever pay any child support for any of his children? It's because they'll never hold a candle to him. They literally do not compare, and we need to stop pretending that any of them could ever face him or frankly even measure up to him. Vergil's the best, all the imitators are stinky, thank you very much, this was my TED Talk, goodbye. One of the best things about these brothers is how perfectly they capture the red-oni, blue-oni trope. Their personalities are almost polar opposites despite sharing the same demonic blood. It's important to mention Nero here as well, as the new protagonist of the series in many ways. People are now just as fond of and attached to Nero as some of the classic characters, especially newer players to the series who maybe missed the older games. He just grew on us, and though I still prefer the twins, Devil May Cry wouldn't be the same without him and his unique, more approachable gameplay. He's become an important part of the family. The second major ingredient to Devil May Cry's success is the part that perhaps matters most, the gameplay. Devil May Cry in many ways defined the entire character action genre and is very much the bar against which all like games are measured. The combat of Devil May Cry is like an intricate dance, attacking with both ranged and melee weapons, alternating button presses in tandem with different directional inputs to use different attack strings and special moves. You weave in and out, evading enemy attacks with precise dodges and jumps, whilst combining your repertoire of different unlocked techniques to perform stylish combos, switching between different weapons on the fly. You are rated on how stylishly you dispatch enemies. Varying the techniques you use and evading damage leads to a higher score in combat and ultimately for each mission on the whole. Devil May Cry 3 introduced the style system for Dante, and later installations brought on-the-fly style switching. This allowed you to choose from several different playstyles and multiplied the tools available to you as well. Trickster provided extra mobility options, Royal Guard offered frame-perfect parries, and so on. It came together to create some of the most fun and skill-expressive action gameplay ever created. Run this into some of the incredible boss fights in the series and you're in for a spectacular time, if not for a serious challenge, particularly in the infamous Dante Must Die difficulty setting. In my opinion, Devil May Cry has never been outdone in the character action genre. The third major aspect of the series that I wish to bring to your attention is the presentation and style itself. Although each game had its own feeling, its own unique vibe, each of them seemed significant to me. Devil May Cry had the classic Resident Evil spooky mansion vibe with tight, gloomy corridors, fixed camera angles, and spooky medieval art and decoration. 3 went darker, with almost a gritty gothic horror feeling to it, where oppressive evil permeated the atmosphere, only to be cut away once the deep, heavy music kicked in to remind you that you are the terrible monster and the demons your victims. 4 went in a different direction, with ultra-clean visuals and a more religious style, with high gothic mega-churches and demons masquerading as angels. The culmination of myriad different factors come together to create one of the all-time greatest game franchises. Intense, satisfying gameplay interwoven with incredibly stylish and entertaining cutscenes to tell impactful stories about characters you will fall in love with. You're probably already a fan, but if not, go play the games right now or I'll have to... You. Got it? And here we are now, almost 2.5 decades later, still stewing in how marvellous DMC5 was. The game was in many ways the ultimate culmination of all that came before. It tied so many things off with a neat little bow. It answered so many questions, let us see the characters interact in new ways, and saw one of the main plot points come full circle. Frankly, the series could truly end here, and we wouldn't have too much to complain about. It was honestly a masterpiece. Leading into and out of 5, it also became clear that the community for Devil May Cry was something super special. DMC fans are so passionate about the series and its characters, and the energy is electric. The community is ablaze again, just like it was in those days leading up to 5. All over the internet now I see heaps of artwork and fan tributes, thirst traps, discussions and more. People are starving for more Devil May Cry. And even more recently, a strange new push in marketing and fresh official content. A huge crossover with Punishing Grey Raven as well. It really feels like maybe it isn't really over. And we the players certainly don't want it to be. Maybe there is a storm that is approaching. I sincerely hope so. Capcom, push the button. Let free the demons of hell so that we may see our saviors again, even if it would truly be for the last time. There is one last major plot point to be resolved. I may or may not have made an entire video that is my own fanfic plot for a hypothetical DMC6. It's a bit cheesy, but if you want to hear my ideas for how the story should go, check out the video now. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe and have a chat with me in the comments because it means the world to me. And by all means, feel free to check out any other videos that might appeal to you on my channel. Thank you so much.